hope you're enjoying my dad's videos. Make sure to share this video with family and friends, like and subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you get notified for all my dad's new videos. My social media will be tagged down below so you can follow it. And just remember, Jesus loves you.
Hi guys, just one little factor here before we start this video here today. If for any reason my YouTube channel gets taken down, which could happen because we're challenging the deep state and we're challenging the powers behind the scenes. But if it does get taken down, I'm going to share the link below here. We have a website, drcharlieward.co.uk, and you can subscribe on there to our updates and our newsletters, etc., that are being produced by Lee Hemington. But you'll be able to keep in touch with what's going on. So at the moment, everything is nice and smooth. But if for any reason we get taken down, you simply go to my website, drcharlieward.co.uk, and register there, and you'll get all the information as to where we are or where you can view our videos. Hello, Angel.
Good morning, dear. How are you?
I'm so much better for seeing you. I've had so many of my people ask me to have a Zoom chat with you. I was wondering if it was going to happen.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's awfully nice of you.
I love connecting with people like you that have a good, pure following. Not to say that we don't get trolls out there. We do. But it's good to have people that have a good spiritual link, a good understanding. And I've said many times in my videos that we need to reset our moral compasses. And I said that if you believe in God, you can ask God to help you. If you believe in Allah, you can ask Allah to help you. If you don't believe in anyone, ask your mother or your grandmother to help you.
Or the doorknob.
Exactly.
Hey, it doesn't matter as long as you believe in something that's higher than yourself, right?
Exactly. Well, we all love our mothers and grandmothers, so it's an absolute pleasure to be talking to you.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to talk to you too. I've seen you around. I haven't been able to listen in a lot of times because, my God, I used to listen to at least 20 people, you know, out there on YouTube land. And I take what I need and I leave the rest. Same. And I just hop around and I'm listening to all these people and what's going on. And it's fascinating to see that everyone's into a different topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you put them all together, it just kind of puts those puzzle pieces together.
Very much so. I started doing my videos 4 months ago. So I'm sort of a new boy at it. And I started with 37 subscribers. And I've hit 140,000 in 4 months.
Yay.
Which is a bit surprising for me, but people, in a world full of lies, people are very happy to hear the truth.
Yes. Yeah, we're tired of being lied to.
Exactly. Exactly. And right from the first month, when I started talking to different people, your name came up, which says a lot about you as a person. There's certain names. Your name was one. Sasha Stone was one. Ole Demigod was another one. There was a lot of names that came to me very early on. And I've tried to explore every single angle to enlighten myself as much as anything.
Yes. And that's what we have to do.
Exactly.
Because you have to start discerning, you know, you have to make your choices. Yeah. And I just let God do that because I just give everything to him every morning.
Well, I tell you what, I was born and brought up in a religious cult called Plymouth Brethren. So I was indoctrinated from birth. And I had an arranged marriage when I was 18 years old, and I left when I was 23, having had 3 children by the age of 23, and got divorced and walked away from it because there was something that just didn't add up. And I went off the rails for a number of years. I don't mind admitting that, and I got a long way from God, a long way. But because I'd learned that my parents had not been truthful with me about a number of things. But then I went through 10 years of being completely in the wilderness. And then I started to investigate, but literally look at things, my biggest problem was my mother was an alcoholic. And my father seemed to have this thought that alcohol purified the spirit, but smoking defiled the spirit. And that didn't make any sense to me. And that was the first sort of bullshit that I had to unpick. And ever since then, I've been on a journey, and I've looked at religion, which I'm not very keen on religion. I'm keen on faith. I'm keen on spirituality, and that's completely different from religion.
Agree.
And I've learned a lot from listening to people like yourself, talking from a spirituality background, but having a fundamentally accurate moral compass.
Well, in our family, we were just taught the basics, you know. Mm-hmm. My parents were Catholics, and that's how we were raised. And it was just all about, you know, how you treat a person. They taught us to love, to honor, to care. And if somebody comes to your door, you feed them, and you offer them drink, and you offer them a shoulder if they need to talk to. And that's how we were basically raised. And the one thing I didn't care for in there were just way too many rules in this church. Yeah. And then when I started hearing about them abusing the boys, that's what opened my eyes. And it got to the point where I just went, and it was just a weekday, and I knelt on that altar, and I said, Lord Jesus Christ, I says, I'm sorry, but I'm coming to you with a heavy heart. I says, it infuriates me that I have to come into this church and these priests are ignoring everything that's going on around me. Why? I want to know. And why aren't they teaching us something? They just repeat the same words over and over and over. So I told him, look, I says, I love you with all my heart, mind, and soul, and you're my creator. So I will leave with you, and I will leave this behind until it gets cleaned up. And until then, I'm out of here. Mm-hmm. And I says, you do what you will with me. And look where I'm at.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. It's something that we're going to have to learn to live with, the fact that we were misled by certain religious groups, and it's going to be devastating for a lot of people. You know how you felt, I know how I felt, and it took me 10 years to establish truth. It took me a long time because I'd understood that what I was taught as a child was true. Mm-hmm. I had to unlearn so much stuff. And you're saying much the same thing, that why are you reading the same stuff? Why aren't you teaching me? Why aren't you guiding me? And these are very important things. And then when you start opening up to the spiritual side of your life, you find a happiness and a contentment that I'd never found before.
Yes.
And then you also, the other thing is, I find that I get led into the right places and led out of the wrong places.
Yes, that's how my life works too.
Yeah.
God puts me with people that he wants me to be with, and he'll remove those that aren't good for what I have going for me. And that's truth.
Yeah.
And the light and the way, and just, you know, my love for my creator and my love for fellow man. And my love for those babies that are getting just abused. I just hate that. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
It defies logic, doesn't it? It makes no sense.
It breaks my heart.
The only thing that you and I can know 1,000,000% that for as much good there is, there's evil out there as well.
Yes.
And what right now, the definition is absolutely polar opposite. People need to wake up in the middle and realize that they're surrounded by good and evil, but which side are you going to come down? Which side are you going to go? Trump is on the side of good, exposing what's evil. Mm-hmm. And he's doing an amazing job.
Oh, I know. He's amazing. And the only way he can do that, I believe, in my heart, is through God. God is working him.
Well, he made him.
Yeah.
He's using him now.
Exactly.
He's using him for his own ends, and he's doing a very, very good job.
Yeah, and it could have been anybody out there, but it just happens to be Donald J. Trump, and so be it. As long as he's doing everything for the good and the righteousness of people, that's all I care about.
The other thing that is very clear that points out to people like you and I that God is using him, after his first term in office, he's looking younger than when he started.
I know. I've noticed that. I've noticed that.
Isn't that beautiful?
It is. It is.
It might have a bit to do with Melania as well, I think.
Yeah.
Because behind every great woman is a great man, and behind every great man is a great woman.
Exactly. Yeah. And you are what you feel.
Yeah.
If you want to feel old, you'll be old, and I don't. And I never want to, because I'm really young at heart. We all are.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And we're coming through the most beautiful time in our history as we're exposing what's evil.
I know.
We've all studied what's the Bible or the Quran or whatever, and we're in the time of revelation. We're in the time of the Great Awakening. And we're in a very beautiful time, but we've had to come through a really dirty, like when he talked at the start about draining the swamp, I bet you and I had no idea how dirty it was.
No, but knowing how big this world is, and people are, I don't even know how to describe it. People are involved in all different kinds of things, and if there's a way they can get away with it, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And if it happens in a small way, it's going to happen in a larger way too. And you look at all those 007 movies and all those. We knew back then that, everything's worldwide and it's not just local. So, yeah, they kind of gave us a hint as to what's actually taking place out there by their movies that they create.
There's so many, isn't there? There's so many pointers, whether right from the start of Straw Man through The Matrix, through all of those movies, were pointing out stuff, and we just thought they were a movie.
Yeah. But my mind is like, who's so creative out there that they can come up with all this? That was my question.
Yeah. It was almost like they were trying to enlighten us before in the subliminal.
Yes. Yeah, they're going to condition us.
Yeah.
So that it's more acceptable. Just like eating children now, it's like they're conditioning us, and they're moving it through McDonald's and all that. And it's so disgusting, I can just puke.
I know, I agree with you.
And I bet all of us have eaten at least something down the road.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Exactly.
So that's why I repent all the time, for the world and the world's people, because they won't do it.
Yeah.
So we have to. Those of us that are awake and we know better, we have to do that. And I do that. Because if we come together as one unit, my goodness, we can move mountains. One person can move mountains. Look what I did. And I'm like you, Charlie.
Exactly.
I started with 35 people, maybe 50. And then all of a sudden this person writes to me and she says, Angel, you're at 5,000. And I go, what? And then it just like that, all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom. And they just started coming out. And then all of a sudden I have YouTube on my back, and I'm fighting with them right now because they have me in jail for a week. Please.
Yeah.
And I find ways to circumvent the system. I have to, because I have to get that word out.
Well, so far, it was very interesting with YouTube because they congratulated me on 100 subscribers. They congratulated me on 1,000 subscribers. They congratulated me on 10,000. I've heard nothing when I hit 100,000. I'm already at 140. Nothing at all. Heard nothing. It's still in process.
I haven't heard anything.
No.
And they won't even allow me to, they won't pay me for the time that they use their advertising either.
No, that I applied for monetization for a simple reason. I wanted to put some money into my 10-year-old son's saving account. That was it. Nothing more. And not a penny. Not a penny at all. And look, I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it to get the word out there.
Right.
And somebody said to me, it's probably better you're not monetized, otherwise they'd check everything you say. So
Yeah.
maybe it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, that's the way I have to look at it too. Because like I say, God watches me, and he's so good to me, and he spoils me on a daily basis. And I can't even begin to tell people, oh, how sublime and wonderful. If you just get so close to him, you don't want for anything because he just provides it.
Yeah. I totally agree. And he doesn't, the lovely thing is he doesn't always give us what we ask for, but he gives us what's best for us.
Yes. Yes.
And sometimes you have to look back, and as my father always used to say, an ounce of foresight is worth a ton of hindsight. And you look back and you think, do you know what he gave me at the right time for the right reasons, and I was asking for the wrong reasons.
Yes. Yeah, but you have to come to your own time set when it's time to say, like me, it's like, what is my purpose? I've been waiting for years to find out what my purpose is. My daughter goes out and she buys me this beautiful book and a ledger so I can document everything that are my thoughts. And all of a sudden, I've got my purpose and I'm happy. And I'm so happy, I can't even begin to tell you how happy I am, other than people say, I can see it in your eyes, I can see it in your smile. And I don't want to go back anywhere else. I don't want to look back. I just want to keep moving forward.
Well, you certainly look very happy, and that's that comes from within. It's not just a smile on the outside. Mm-hmm. Because you're content within, and I'm in the same space. I'm just so content inside me. I'm knowing a peace right now that I've never known before in my entire life.
I know, it's wonderful. It really is wonderful. So I hope people find their peace within, because and their closeness, the relationship with God, because it is it's very humbling. It's very nurturing. It's very loving. And I don't know about you, Charlie, but I have angels that watch over me. We all have guardian angels, right? But I've got two. And they let me know they're around by either I find a penny, or I'll find a feather, or the numbers will pop up, 555, 1212, 1111. And they let me know that, I'm either on the right direction or I need to, but I always ask to be kept on the straight and narrow, because I don't want to go back there. I'm already up here, and that's where I try to keep myself.
As you know, being Charlie, I've got Charlie's angels.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. And one of my little angels is Justin, my son, 10-year-old son. I've got two grandsons older than him, but he's on a spiritual level that is on an amazing level right now. And we were talking to somebody the other day, a spiritual advisor, and she said, you know what, he's on the 12th he's on the 14th dimension now.
Wow.
As a 10-year-old, and he's seeing things. He sees things so clearly when I'm talking about stuff.
Wow.
And to be able to talk to a young child that has a pure mind about what's going on, it's just so clear. It's unpolluted. I mean, it's an incredible. I had the privilege of being invited to speak on Saturday evening to an audience of around 90 people. And I finished up by thanking my wife for being there and being supportive. And I thanked Justin for being there. And he came up and he told everybody that he was on a dimensional level that was higher than his mum and dad put together.
Oh, darling. Oh, he's precious.
He's unbelievably precious.
That's why I didn't know it was your show, because your son comes out and he does your intro for you. And so I'm thinking, well, this is a child's program. So I would go bypass it until I started hearing your name.
Okay.
He is darling. Oh, yes.
Look, I've been very blessed. I lost my firstborn son 11 years ago at 27 years
Oh,
old in a car accident.
I'm
And I
sorry.
thought I'd never get over it. It was very painful. But God has blessed me with this little man. I got together with my wife when he was 2 years old. I didn't actually make it. I didn't make it. It wasn't part of the nature, but I'm definitely part of the nurture.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in the word step. He's my son.
Yes.
I wouldn't put him as a second-class citizen. He's my son, and I absolutely adore him, and I'm very, very blessed. He'll never replace my son on that level, but what a blessing from God I've got.
Oh, yes. I know. I'm very grateful for the family that God gave me and because we lived, back in the 50s, Dad took us out hunting and fishing. He taught us how to play instruments. We sing, we dance. He showed us how to shoot deer and elk and everything to provide, growing a garden, everything that was needed. That's how we lived our life.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you had Sunday church.
Mm-hmm.
But in the summertime, it was out fishing all the time.
Yeah.
And what a wonderful way to spend with family. And then they got taken very young from us.
Yeah.
I lost my father when I was 29,
Wow.
and then mom 6 years later. So us six of us kids have had to, stick together to keep the family together. So
It's amazing how resilient we are through difficult times, isn't it?
yes.
And this is what's the most character building. Like you and me are a very similar age group. And what we've suffered has stood us in good stead now to be able to be strong enough to get people through this. And it's a gift that's given to us and bestowed upon us to help other people, to show them what's happening and guide them through this difficult period.
Yes. I do that with my kids, whether they like it or not. But, it's like through osmosis, they catch on.
Yeah.
Because I'm very consistent.
Yeah.
And they watch me. And as they watch me, they get it.
Yeah.
They get it. Yeah.
You're
So
in Texas?
I'm really pleased. Excuse me?
You're in Texas?
No, I'm in Reno, Nevada.
Nevada. Okay. Okay.
I'm in the biggest little city in the world.
Cool. I like that. I like that. Nevada.
Good old Nevada, yeah, that's where they got. We've had a lot of when they got rid of those dumps, when they were imploding them.
Yeah.
Boy, we felt them all over here because
Yeah.
we have a lot of bases around here, and the underground tunnels that actually go out to the ocean.
Wow.
Yeah, because I did a video on that. I just happened to fall into all these different things, right?
Yeah.
Because if you start going through articles, there's articles within articles, and you start going down the rabbit hole, and it's amazing what you can find out there. Things you can't even Google or would even think about.
Yeah. Now it must be 30 years ago now. I went down into one of these underground tunnel cities, if you like. That's what they are.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
I went down there because I was involved in security, and they were looking at putting cameras down for security in strategic areas. And they weren't being used 30 years ago for storing children in, but it was like a city underground. And when I say underground, I mean not just underground, I mean 200, 300 meters underground. And you went down a lift shaft, and when you got to the bottom, you had golf buggies, and it was like roads going everywhere. And they were proper tunnels, with proper floors, white walls, white ceiling. It was this particular, though I went to two different ones in two different locations. And they were used in the Second World War for storing ammunition and also for signals, so for all the controls and communication, so they couldn't be taken out. But boy, oh boy, I was absolutely shocked at the amount of tunnels and how long they were and how many there was down there. There were shops down there, there was living quarters down there, there was everything down there, and it was 200, 300 meters underground.
Yeah, and they did this all under our eyes.
Yep. So
everybody says, well, how in the heck did they do that without people noticing? Well, they do. They've
do.
got equipment that can go from the ocean and start drilling underneath and everything, or even vice versa. I mean, if you go into Carlsbad Caverns in New Mexico, New Mexico, you can go down you walk down 2 hours worth of walking all the way to the bottom of that pit, and it goes on forever.
Wow.
So I can only imagine what they've done with the equipment that they have.
Sure.
And then you take that like 2-minute ride back up, on the elevator, but you do all that walking going down. It's fabulous, but it gives you a kind of a perception of how deep that you're talking about, these huge tunnels. I mean, they've got to have these monstrous drills to go in there and start drilling all that out, I would think. Is that where Elon Musk comes in?
That I don't know, but I think we need to keep some of those tunnels to put the politicians and corrupt pedophiles in. I think that would be a good place to get rid of them all.
Yeah, let them live in the dark.
Exactly right. Give them a piece of their own medicine.
Yeah, say, okay, go eat on each other now.
Exactly.
Ugh.
Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, I don't know.
But we're living in an amazing time because he's the first president to expose this. All the rest have been complicit.
And he's going to be the first president that's going to be leaving in a, what are we called? I'm going to lose my train of thought.
You're talking about President Trump is going to be the first president.
Yeah, to leave the corporate America, and then he'll be the first president to go into the Republic America.
That's right. And go back to constitutional law.
Yes.
Wow, that would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Isn't it? And I believe that in order to get all that done, don't they have to have all the judges and all the attorneys, all these lawyers, everyone that has to deal with law has to relearn everything? They've
got to retrain everybody.
Yeah.
Because constitutional law is very, very different from maritime law. They'll need to retrain every single lawyer in the land, every single barrister in the land, and every single judge in the land.
That's going to be worth everything.
Isn't it just? Isn't it?
My God. When I think about some of these people that have been in, when I think about some of these people that have gone to jail for the littlest of things because of these corrupt judges, it just,
yeah. And you look at
I don't have any more words to say or how to describe them anymore. They're just monsters.
Exactly right. And you look at the amount of people that are in prison right now for financial things, financial matters, that the whole financial system is so corrupt. They shouldn't be anywhere near a prison.
No.
Because the money they were dealing with is completely corrupt anyway.
I have a question for you, Charlie.
Go on, Angel.
What's your take on this GESARA and NESARA thing? Because don't we learn, or haven't we learned, that money's the root of all evil?
Yep. And we're moving. The one thing is that for people like you and I, we know that GESARA and NESARA was going to be put into power in 1963 by John F. Kennedy. That's why they removed it. So it was written in the late 50s and completed in the sort of early 60s. And it's been adjusted on many, many occasions over the years. And one thing that's becoming very obvious is Donald Trump is probably not going to call it NESARA and GESARA. He's just going to phase it in. We're starting to see things happen like the quantum financial system, gold backed. So the currencies are gold backed instead of not. We're starting to see the forgiveness of debt. And there's absolutely no logic behind how this debt is being forgiven. You know, people's mortgages are just suddenly disappearing. People's student loans are disappearing. People's credit card debts are disappearing. People's utility bills are disappearing. There's no rhyme nor reason. Nobody can explain it, but he's just phasing it in slowly. I wanted it to be all bells and whistles and like, yeah. and it's just not, it's just coming in gently. And I look at that and go, do you know what? That's probably the best way. The most important thing, Angel, that I see is a humanitarian side of NESARA and GESARA. And America, Canada, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, and England, or United Kingdom, middle-class white countries predominantly, the first step with humanity is to take our old people out of old people's home and bring them home where they belong. We've been far too quick to put old people in God's waiting room rather than look after them. They looked after us all our lives, and the minute they get older, they're a problem. We're too busy. Put them in our old people's home. Humanity starts at home. And then we look at our home areas, whether it's Nevada, whether it's Spain, where I live. People on the streets, they don't need just housing. They need educating so they can actually do something for work. There's plenty of work out there. There's plenty of work. Once we get rid of all the bullshit, political bullshit, once we get rid of all the politicians and get rid of, whether it's Republican or Democrat, doesn't matter, get rid of the parties, Conservative, Labour, get rid of them, all these parties. We don't need parties. We need somebody that's going to represent Nevada and represent the people under a people's government, working for the people, accountable to the people, and get away from all this completely divisive bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And the election in America will be won by Trump by 95%, but it won't be anything to do with Republican against Democrat. It'll be between good and evil.
Exactly.
And so the sooner people wake up to that, the better, because the only people that will, the 10% that will be on the evil side, will just be people that are not asleep. They're in a coma. They haven't got a clue what's going on. But they're just going to put a stamp in the Democrat box because that's what they've always done. They haven't opened their eyes to see what the hell's going on.
No, well, I know they've always been evil, but they're more evil today, I think, in today's time than they were back in my parents' time.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
I know that Dad would be so over it if he were alive today. He was always into the political scene. He always liked to know what was going on worldwide and local. And I would watch, I'd sit there and watch the news with him and try to, stay a part of what was going on in life. And then 11 years old, I'm sitting in my 6th grade class at Washington High School in Loveland, Colorado. And I was all excited because JFK was going to be on TV and they were going to go through in Dallas and they're going to take their parade. And I was all excited. And then we sit there and we watch him get murdered. And oh my God, that just broke my heart. And that's when I knew at that time that our government was evil.
Yeah.
Because we were always told they were the best military in the world. Well, if they're so damn good, then why in the hell didn't they protect my president, right?
Well, now you and I know why.
Right.
And thank God. I remember hearing a long time ago that John F. Kennedy Jr. and Donald Trump, many years ago, Donald Trump promised to JFK Jr. to hold those people accountable that killed his father. He made him that promise many years ago. And he's living up to his word.
Yes, he is. And he's doing it in great strides too. Thank God. Thank God he's one that he likes to move. I like to do that too. I don't like to diddle dally, No. I never have been that kind of a person, but that's just the way I am. I like to get things done. The early bird gets the worm, that sort of thing.
So tell me something. You're over the Atlantic from us, and you're the other side there. How many of these people we're seeing on the television right now on the Democrat side are the real Democrats? How many are alive, and how many are clones, or how many are whatever? They don't look the same as they used to look for some reason.
No, I would say that about 3/4 of them are either clones or body double. But most of them are already in gitmos, from my understanding.
Yeah, that's what I understand.
Even Fauci.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been.
And now I'm hearing that Fauci and Mother Teresa is his mom.
Really?
You put those two photos together, oh my God. Exactly, identical.
Wow.
And there's
Wow.
pictures, yes, and there's pictures of him and his mama.
Yeah.
I've got them. I'm going to be putting that in a video as soon as they take me out of this stupid cage.
You'll have to send me the link to that.
I will.
You do that. You do that. So, oh, absolutely brilliant. Well, Angel, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Well,
We'll have to do this again because you're such a good person, and you have so much knowledge there, such a depth of knowledge, and also an awful lot of compassion. At this moment in time, the world needs compassion.
Yes, honey, we do. And we need to just keep praying for those kids. And to your listeners, please, it's Save Our Children. And I've got a web page that's going to be going up, and it's Angel Productions, and it'll be coming out soon. But please, please, please say a prayer for the children and repent for the world's people, because nobody else is going to do it, and we have to. And I believe that the more people we come together, the better our life is going to be, the higher and the faster we elevate into the new dimension that we're supposed to be in. And if all those nut jobs want to stay down here in the third level, so be it. I don't care. I'd rather be away from it. That's where my life is headed.
You send me the link to that, Angel, and I'll put it on here.
Oh, thank you, dear.
Above us, so we can get it out there. No, definitely. Okay. All right.
You have to be a guest on my show too.
I would absolutely love to.
Oh, thank you.
Honor and privilege.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
All right, Angel. Lots of love.
Okay. God bless you, honey.
God bless you too.
Bye-bye.
Hi, it's Justin, and I hope you're enjoying my dad's videos. Make sure to share this video with family and friends, like and subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you get notified for all my dad's new videos. My social media will be tagged down below so you can follow it. And just remember, Jesus loves you.